In my last video entitled The Invisible Weight, we saw how you carry so much that nobody sees. And that is how you get burned out. And you know one thing about burnout, it doesn't always come with sirens. It sneaks up on you quietly, silently, until all of a sudden, you're just there, standing in the middle of the kitchen, trying to figure out what to eat, or staring at your to-do list like it's written in another language, or driving somewhere that you really don't want to go, and you're replaying everything you have to do for the week, realizing you haven't even taken a moment for yourself. This episode is about what happens after that moment, what it looks like to begin or even continue creating ways that look like care. This isn't a checklist, it's a shift. And it's not about discipline, it's about devotion. Devotion to you. If you've been asking yourself, where do I even begin when I don't feel like I even have time for myself? Well, let's begin here, because this was the pause that changed everything for me. I was showing up for everybody. Clients in my chair, family, friends, for so long that when I finally paused, I couldn't even tell you what I needed. It was like I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I remember in the salon, long days after clients, and getting home and jumping right into cooking dinner, answering phones, running my son to basketball practice, never to pause and even check in with myself. And at that point, everything just went quiet for me. And not a peaceful quiet. It was like that quiet that felt empty. I thought it was just normal, honestly. But now looking back, I can see how I was running on empty. That was a hard moment for me, because at that time, I had to figure out how to hear myself again and how to just be still before I made any moves. It started really small. No fancy rituals, just one simple routine. Just sitting there, not rushing off to the next thing, just stillness, which honestly, it felt kind of weird because I've been living in constant go mode my entire life. It was uncomfortable at first, but it also felt like I could finally let go of control and breathe like I hadn't done in years. It also showed me something important. You don't always need a 5-step plan to change. Sometimes you just need to stop and listen. It sounds so basic, but when you've been busy your entire life, even slowing down feels wrong. Peace felt out of reach. Like the rest, it's not earned. And that's something that I had to learn. Because that pause, as awkward and as weird as it felt, that was actually the start of me finally putting myself first. So today, if all you can manage is one pause, one breath, one check-in, that counts. Seriously, that's enough. Because that's the beginning. If you've been in survival mode so long, stillness, it can feel unsafe at first. Silence might feel loud, but trust me, that pause, that's where it starts to get better. You might be even scared or don't know how to slow down, but I want you to hear me. You are not failing. There's nothing wrong with you. You've just been managing more than what one person should have to for far too long. Of course you're tired. You hear people say it all the time. You just need a routine. And yes, routines help. They keep things moving. But for me, what really changed everything were the rituals. Because routines, they keep you on track. But the rituals, they bring you back to yourself. They remind you that it's time to pause, take a moment, and enjoy you. Some days it was me sitting in the sun for 5 or 10 minutes before work. And other days it was me making a meal and actually sitting down and eating it in peace, without a phone, without a to-do list. And on most days, it was stepping out for a few minutes just to get some fresh air in between clients. And I want you to know this: rituals, they don't have to look one way, because we all crave something different. Some women need movement, some need nature, some women need stillness, prayer, and some just need quiet. What matters most is that it feels like you, that your body can finally let go a little when you actually do it. So I want you to really think about this. When you wake up, what is your body first craving? Not what's on your schedule and not what social media tells you. What would actually help you feel okay today? That answer, that can change everything. And if you're wondering how to make space for it, I want you to think about this. Maybe you block out a couple of 20 or 30-minute appointments between your clients or after the Friday meeting, just like you do for someone else. And schedule it my time in your calendar, just like you would do a doctor's appointment. So nobody can take that from you. Or maybe before rushing out to do errands, you take a moment and breathe and remind yourself you're doing your best. Little shifts like that, they matter. And just remind you that you're a person, not just checking off boxes for everyone else. I want to walk you through a few "that's me" moments, because maybe you haven't had the words to describe this, but when you hear it, you'll feel them when I say it. You wake up tired, even after a full night's rest, even after a weekend off. It's not just being exhausted, it's being worn out. You reward yourself with sugar, TV, or scrolling, but end up feeling worse after. That's not you messing up. That's you trying to soothe yourself with the best way you know how. Or someone asks you, "What do you do for fun?" And you have to think too long. Not because you don't have interest, but because you haven't had joy or space for it in so long. You feel afraid of starting over. Not because you don't want to change, but because you're scared that it may be another thing you can't keep up with. And trust me, I have been every one of those women. The one that smiled at good news but couldn't actually feel it. The one that was reaching for sweets just to take the edge off. The one with a full calendar and an unfulfilled spirit. The one who wanted to change so bad but just didn't have the energy to do it. I know what it feels like to be tired. And not just in your body, but in your soul. Tired of starting over. Tired of hoping that something will finally stick. And if this is you right now, you've been nodding your head along this entire time, thinking, that sounds like me. That's where I am. I want you to take a deep breath and hold on to this. You are not failing. You are not too far gone. And you are not the one person who can't heal. You're just ready. Ready to feel like yourself again. Ready to move past just surviving. Ready to feel what care truly feels like. And that readiness, it doesn't have to be loud or dramatic. It just has to be honest. And that alone is enough to begin. So now what? What do you do when you realize, I can't keep going like this? You start where your body is, not with the checklist, not with pressure, but with presence. For me, it started with paying attention, noticing how I felt before picking up the phone, or that sigh I let out after sitting down, or how tight my shoulders got halfway through the day. That noticing, that was my way back to me. Little by little, I started giving myself these tiny moments. It made me feel seen again, not because somebody told me to, but because my body was begging for it. Even if I didn't have time for anything else, I made sure to take just a few moments for me. And none of that looked like a perfect routine from Instagram. But it was real and it was mine. And that's what I want for you, because you don't need any more to-dos, just moments that feel honest, because you don't need another plan. You need peace, and the peace you can actually feel. And that's the moment you stop putting yourself last and you start finding your way back to you, one moment at a time, not all at once and not under pressure, but through real, honest care. You start noticing your own signals, the chest tightness, the shallow breath, the headache that creeps in out of nowhere. And instead of pushing through like you normally do, you pause. Maybe you say to yourself, okay, I hear you. It's time to slow down. Slowing down isn't quitting, it's choosing something different. It's choosing you. These might seem small, but they're real. And they teach your body over time that you're safe, you matter, and you're not behind. Let me leave you with this. Healing, it doesn't always look like a glow up. Sometimes it looks like you sitting in the car for 10 minutes before you walk inside. Creating a way that honors your body's unique patterns, your energy, your story. A way that cares for you as a whole person, mind, body, and spirit, every single day. That's the peace. In future episodes, I'm going to share even more on how I build those rhythms, those patterns, and that personalized care so that you can stop surviving and start really living. So keep coming back. You deserve this. Stick around. I would love to show you what's possible because there's a better way to do this.